All right, we've got some breaking news I want to share with you right now. The U.S. Secretary of State, Michael Pompeo, is expected now, he's in North Korea, but he's expected to return with those 3 U.S. detainees. This is coming from a number of South Korean news sources who are confirming it, that he will return with those 3, including one gentleman who has been held since 2014, the former State Department official Joel Rubin, Fox News contributor, Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, also a former U.S. congressman. Alan, I get your quick thoughts on that. It could explain the timing of the trip, the whole 9 yards. What do you make of it?
Well, I think it's good to be with you, Neil. I think it's an incredible contrast when you think about the Secretary of State of the Trump administration is returning with 3 American detainees. But during the Obama administration, we had Otto Warmbier, who was shipped back, and he was in a coma, and he later died. So, you know, everyone is talking all of this Armageddon and over-the-top hyperbole because President Trump has decided to withdraw from Barack Obama's unilateral executive action called the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. But some people need to understand strength and might. And I think that now you're seeing America being respected. You see a president that is leading from the front, and we're getting our detainees released. We are making a difference because we have a foreign policy that has teeth.
You know, Joe Rubin, it would fly in the face of some who feared with that move we made to sort of rip up the Iran agreement would hurt us in regards to negotiating with the North Koreans, that they would be suspicious of whether we would turn tail on them on any agreement that we entered into. You heard all of that, and lo and behold, we find out about the Secretary of State returning with those 3 detainees. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Neil, thank you. And first and foremost, it's always a good day for America when detainees come home. And under President Obama, many detainees did come home as well. Alan Gross from Cuba as well came home during the negotiation period, or just prior to it with Cuba. So we shouldn't just assign blame to America because detainees don't end up with a positive fate. We need to try to distill this a bit.
No, that's a fair enough point. But, Joel, could I ask you about what this might presage? I mean, a lot of people have read high expectations into this sit-down the president's going to have with the North Korean leader. But are the North Koreans actually giving all their goodies away now? I mean, what will come of the ultimate sit-down? The president, you know, has famously said, if I don't see much progress, I'll up and walk out.
Well, it's a good open question. With North Korea, we are looking for them to denuclearize, but there is a deep concern in the national security community that North Korea has already advanced a nuclear program so far to such an extent that it cannot be just extracted from North Korea. We can't take away. No, this is a 15-year policy that even going back to the Bush administration when they tore up the agreed framework, that led us to the situation where we're in today.
8 of those years were under President Obama.
Again, when you have a deal with the country like you do North Korea and you break the deal, bad things happen, and that's what we're about to see with Iran too. We have a deal that's working, we'll rip it up, and we have no plan B. So
well, we don't know anything that's going to happen on that front, so it's a little too early to tell. But Colonel, the one thing I do want to get a sense from you is that how is this affecting our global standing? If we're the only ones on this Iran thing who are open to ripping up and starting from scratch, and yet the 5 co-signatories do not, and that includes France and Germany and England and Russia and China. If I'm Iran, couldn't I look at that and just say, well, I've got my billions, I got my pallets of cash on 2 private jets, I can deal with this?
Well, from the perspective of a soldier, sailor, airman, Marine, let's remember that it was 1983. It was Hezbollah, supported by Iran, that killed 241 Marine sailors and also soldiers. Let us remember that a couple of weeks before the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action was agreed upon by Barack Obama, Iran took 2 riverine assault boats of sailors, and they used them as propaganda tools, and the Obama administration did not put up any fight for them whatsoever. Let us also remember that 18 to 20% of the soldiers, sailors, and airmen Marines who were killed or wounded in Iraq were due to explosive force penetrators that came from Iran. So I think what you're going to see is a bit of a pride in the men and women that we asked to go out there and back up our foreign policy. Those are those men and women that are standing on freedom's ramparts. And when I look at England or France or Germany, we need to ask them a very simple question. Do they want to stand on the side of the #1 state sponsor of Islamic terrorism, or do they want to stand on the side of the rule of law and the international-based order of law as well?